perfect. Yeah, you walk that walk, watch the muscle pop. You're so picture perfect.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bravo Tea with the Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to spill some Bravo tea. So we'll get into the tea at the end, but I want to wrap up the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I thought this was the wrap-up, but no, we're getting a part 3. I just want this to be over at this point. I mean, I do appreciate when like a big scandal breaks and we have a 3-parter reunion, but I really feel they're dragging it a lot. I thought this past week was it. I thought it was 2-parters. I thought we were going to get Jennifer Chilli, Kathy Hilton come out. I'm like, all right, this is when it's really going to heat up. No, it's another part next week. And I'm like, damn it, let's just get this shit over with. But Garcelle and Sutton are already checked out. That's why I'm like going to be really shocked if Sutton stays on this show without Garcelle, because we know that Garcelle is leaving already. Even watching this, it's like once I'm watching it and you already know something, you're like, yeah, you're done. But that's what I would think about Sutton too. She complained all season. She's like, I hate these women. And she's like, everyone's mean to me. Then leave. Like, I'm thinking of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. You can leave. It's like, why would you want to stay? And I said this before, she doesn't need the money. Because I do get why some of them do it. It's like, this is their livelihood, so they got to put up with it to make a paycheck. Like Teresa Giudice, single mom who works 2 jobs and loves the kids and never stops. But Louis going to make her stop with all this ridiculous shit he's doing. But I mean, they're not filming yet, but let's just say Teresa's like, I'm done with this. I got to quit the show. I can't stand my brother and Melissa anymore. She can't do that because she got bills to pay. This is her job. Sutton, on the other hand, gets over $300,000 a month, and she got money, and she got property, and obviously she's invested her money and made even more money on it. So she is not hanging on to this job for money. The only thing I can think of is she's hanging on to this job because she doesn't have real friends or like a life. And this is something to do. But these aren't your friends either, girl. And your only friend, ally, Garcelle, is leaving because Jennifer Tilly's just a friend of. Which she comes out and said that she was a fan of the show. And it's just like so funny to be involved in it now. And she's like, it really is real. And I do think these shows are real to an extent. But the one thing that we're getting away from that's the realness is none of these people would be friends in real life. Now, like Summerhouse or Southern Charm, I'm so invested when they all fight, I've said before, because they really are friends. So there's like a lot on the line for them to have conflict and resolution. Dorit, on the other hand, she'll just yell at Sutton all day. She doesn't care at all if they become friends and they make up. Dorit doesn't want to lose her position, I think, on the show, which is understandable. But Kathy and Jennifer Tilly come out, and we're just kind of talking about how fabulous Jennifer Tilly is, all the money, all the things she has. She said she cannot disclose the amount she gets per month or residuals from The Simpsons, but it definitely got to be a lot because she had her own thing, and like she was in the Chucky movies, and I know like horror films have like a big cult kind of following, but nothing that's buying her this type of stuff. She said she wore a one-of-a-kind necklace at the photo shoot they did at like the beginning of the season where they were kind of like old school Hollywood glam. And once they showed it, I remembered seeing pictures of it. It's really cool. Kind of looks like a belt buckle, but it's like blue diamonds. She said it's literally a one of a kind. I mean, I would have never pictured Jennifer Tilly to have all this fabulous, rare, like cool stuff. She just wouldn't have been at the top of my list in Beverly Hills area to like, oh, I bet she has the coolest stuff. She really does. Or like they were talking about that Louis Vuitton boat purse. I want that. I need to find like a fake version of that because obviously she said that's kind of like a rare one of a kind one too. So she said she paid $24,000 for it, but she could probably get like $34,000 for it now. So say the classics always go up in value or like rare weird stuff like that. But it's like us like plain girls, like if we have the money, we have a couple $1,000 and we're like, we're going to treat ourselves. We're going to get a nice bag. We get the everlasting ones. Like we get the Speedy. We get the big like tote one, whatever that's called. I forget. We don't get these like crazy things or like the crazy patterns because it's like we can't go buy a new one every day. Like Kyle has a Birkin in every freaking color. Like if I'm getting a Birkin, I'm getting like a tan, like camel caramel color or like a black because I don't have the expenses to get a pink one, a blue one, a red one, a yellow one, a green one, like a polka dot one. Like just that woman's crazy. But before Garcelle leaves this show, I'm glad she's really kind of calling Kyle out about the Morgan Wade stuff because it is strange. She was on the show last year, and then now this season we can't even say her name. It's just a big switch, and it's like it's already out there, so you don't need to hide it. It's not a secret. So Garcelle said to Kyle, I feel like you told me stuff off camera. Oh, talk about someone not being a girl's girl, because that's what they get into this episode. That's kind of not being a girl's girl. But I do agree. If you sign up for reality TV, you can't hide certain things. You just can't. You got to put it all out there. And Garcelle's like, we have questions. And then Bo said, it's fine if you don't want to share something, but don't kind of say that you're sharing a lot. Because Kyle always does say that, which it's not like she's never not shared anything. And I mean, hello, she's getting divorced. But this is my thing about Kyle. She's sharing, but like a surface level sharing. Yes, you told us you're getting divorced, but why? We still don't know the exact reason why. She broke down and cried last season, like the last episode, in her confessional and said, it's something that happened that she just can't get over. So immediately we're all thinking infidelity. But she claims it's not infidelity. I mean, she could be lying. Who knows? But I need to know what it is. And she said she doesn't want to say anything to hurt her daughters. And that's what she's saying about the Morgan Wade thing. That's why she's like not talking about it. But it's like, why would anything about Morgan Wade hurt your daughters? Is it because you cheated on their father with Morgan Wade and you're like midlife crisis lesbian now with this young girl that could be your daughter? Why would it hurt your daughters? I thought that was like a little clue because that's weird. Obviously, her daughters have to know if she's in a romantic relationship with Morgan Wade because they're her family. What are you going to lie to your daughters? I think Kyle at this juncture cannot tell us exactly the whole truth about Morgan Wade because she would be admitting to having an affair when her and Maurizio were still married, still living under the same roof, because last season, that's where we were. We were in their house. They were still living together, but she's frolicking, getting tattoos every other day with Morgan Wade. So if she current day sat on that reunion couch, it was like, yeah, you know, Morgan and I are together. Then everyone would definitely be like, oh, so you were definitely together back then. So you were cheating on your husband, and we would nail her to the cross. But if you really are together, what are you going to hide it forever till your deathbed? It's just getting annoying at this point because that's what Garcelle said at Chuck E. Cheese. Be a lesbian if you want. And Kyle was like, you know, you were saying that, I feel like, to be an a-hole. I think she said that on part 1 of the reunion. And I think Garcelle was kind of saying it. I think Garcelle doesn't really like care to be friends with any of these people either. So we have her there to call them out on their shit, which we always need one. We need one to do that. She's like, I don't care if I ever talk to Kyle Richards again. So I'm going to sit here, do a great job on this show, and give the people what they want. We always need it. But Kyle said she feels like she's just doesn't know anybody, anything, I kind of feel like. And I get that, but then maybe don't be on reality TV. So then we kind of get into her and Dorit. And I am ready for Kyle to admit that all the stuff this season, she was not being a girl's girl. So she said she feels like Dorit is quick to forgive everyone, but not Kyle. And Dorit's like, I feel like you do that with me. And she's like, once you said on your Amazon Live that I was exaggerating our friendship, the gloves were off. And I agree. That was so rude of Kyle to say. And Dorit said she thinks Kyle ghosted her after she was on Watch What Happens Live and said the comment of why she thinks they're not close anymore. And they showed the clip. So Dorit said once Morgan Wade kind of became friends with Kyle, she's like, I feel like you pushed me away. And she's like, sorry, Kyle, that's how I feel. So all these women are always like, I want to say how I feel, and we should all be able to say how we feel. And then when they say how they feel, the other person gets mad. Even if Kyle doesn't agree with Dorit, that's how Dorit feels. And I don't even know these people personally, but just looking on the outside, yeah, Kyle, it looks like you met Morgan Wade and literally forgot about all of your friends, let alone your husband and your family. Because she's saying that Maurizio doesn't have any time for her and he's traveling for the agency, which PS is work and your income, how you live, and buy all those damn Birkins and all those colors. She's jetting around town with Morgan Wade, not around town, excuse me, out of town, and leaving poor Portia, who's still in high school. Excuse me. So it's like kind of annoying when I think back that Kyle was saying Maurizio doesn't make time for her. And it's like, you're like going to every Morgan Wade concert, which probably has like 2,000 people in attendance. So it's like, please don't. And then I forgot, Dorit said she didn't understand why Kyle did ghost her after they had dinner in London with Morgan Wade for Maurizio's birthday. And I forgot about that. So that was when we first even like heard about, like, we're like, who's this tattooed hoodlum with them? So it was Kyle, Maurizio, PK, Dorit, and Morgan Wade, excuse me, in London, like on a trip. So I'm like, wait, that is so weird. And I forgot about that. Like Kyle and Maurizio were with Morgan Wade. So like at first I did think that they had money invested in Morgan Wade's career. Still weird how they would meet her since she's like a young, random like country singer that doesn't live in California. So it's kind of like, yeah, how'd you like come across this person? But whatever. As Morgan Wade said to the tattoo guy, he's like, how you meet? And she's like, she stalked me. So it's like, Kyle, why are you like stalking Instagram for like young girls that are country singers that could be like your daughter's age? Like, that's weird. But then you're going to say Maurizio gets like the dirty DMs in the Instagram. I don't know. But Andy said, don't you see how filming that music video, he did the Lord's work right here. Thank God, Andy. He should have been on that couch for this one. The music video would start rumors, and no one even knew Morgan Wade until the show. And she's in the public eye already being a musician. So what's the problem? And I fully agree with him. And I'm so glad he said it, because if he didn't say this, I was hoping somebody else would say it, AKA Garcelle, or anybody, or like a write-in question, could have been me. But I agree. Anyone that wants to be on a platform is going to have to realize you're going to get public scrutiny. It just comes with the thing, like the Kardashians. You just as many fans as they have enemies. So they're prepared for that, though. They know that, or they know when they leave their house, they're going to be followed by paparazzi. And Morgan Wade, by being a musician and just putting herself out there, knows that she's going to get scrutiny. Maybe not from this type of crowd specifically. And that's what Kyle tries to say and says. She's like, well, it's different of like a Housewives or Bravo following. And I'm like, yeah, it can be. But it's like, we're acting like she just wanted no public attention at all. And like, we gave her extreme anxiety and now she wants to crawl under a rock because she was on this show. Also, like, did she get hate? It was more Kyle, if anybody, getting hate, because it's like, she's the one that's like still married and has a family. Was she getting like death threats in the mail? Like, why was she so anxious? Just because her picture was all over tabloids? That's great. Probably for her music career. Any publicity is good publicity, as they used to always say. Like, even when Brittany Spears would be shaving her head and stuff, I mean, she was already like famous, but some of these people just gets so famous with the bad publicity. I mean, to go back to the Kardashians, look how it all kind of started. They were like, somebody a little bit, but if Kim didn't take her clothes off and do that weird video, we wouldn't even have them at the platform we do today. So I agree with Andy 100%. I mean, don't even leave your home if you don't want to be recognized. It's just, Kyle can literally not own up to any wrongdoing though, and it's actually so annoying. So I don't know why she thinks that was nice for her to diminish her and Dorit's friendship, because then she gets so offended if Dorit says anything back, kind of. They bring up the whole PK text. And this just adds to the pile of she can't own up to any wrongdoing. Kyle said she's a girl's girl. She comes from a family of all girls. But Dorit is just bothered that Kyle runs to PK and talks shit. I mean, why are you texting? Even if you're like not close anymore with Dorit, because also, Kyle, don't tell me you weren't close. They were. The four of them hung out. They did stuff. So Kyle is just diminishing their friendship. They had a friendship off screen for sure. They're now in the middle of a divorce and it's not going well. Even if it was going well, don't text my soon-to-be ex-husband. Don't. And it's not going well. He like doesn't even talk to Dorit. You're going to text and talk to him. And it wasn't just memes that everyone was pointing out. And then they show all the flashbacks from the season. And yeah, it was like, I will never tell anybody what you tell me. Well, what are you talking about? And then Kyle, I feel like, thinks that we think she's cheating and having like a secret affair with like PK. No one thinks that, because I don't think anyone is running to PK to have an affair with him because, number one, he's ugly. And number two, I don't think he has any money. So Kyle is certainly not running to him. And it's like, excuse me, she's having her own private affair with like Morgan Wade. We don't need you, PK. So no one thinks that. But it's like, are you talking about Dorit to PK? Call a girlfriend and vent about Dorit and like have a bitch sesh with another lady, not like PK. I mean, I would be so bothered if I got divorced from my husband and my best friend, or just my friend, doesn't have to be my best friend. I'll just chalk it down to just friend. My friend is texting him and like barely even talking to me. Even if we're going through a little rough patch, like, don't talk to him. So like, quick funny story. Not funny, but whatever. I had a boyfriend for 3 years in high school, and he did not go to our high school. And he was like 2 years older. So my freshman year of college, like right at the beginning, I broke up with him. And come to find out, like a couple months later, one of my friends from high school started dating him. And then I was like, what is wrong with you? You wouldn't even know who he is if I didn't date him for 3 years in high school because he didn't go to our high school. Like, that's creepy when people do stuff like that. It's like bros before hoes, chicks before dicks. I mean, it's just like a little strange. So the fact that Kyle thinks she's a girl's girl, but she's texting PK, and the level she's texting him, like the only excusable things that you could be texting him is like, I saw you guys are separated. I'm so sorry. And then they said that when Jaggy had his health problems, she texts PK. And I hope she texts Dorit as well. But those are understandable if it's kind of like crisis things, or like, oh, I'm reaching out to you because I saw that like you're going through a sobriety journey. Like, that's great. Because Kyle chooses to be sober. Why she's talking to PK about Dorit, or just why she's texting him like, I'm there for you and you can tell me secrets. It's like, please no. So I had Donna Bowling on my podcast last week, and I was listening to her episode the other day, Daily Dose of Donna, shout out. She said that maybe like, oh no, wait. No, it wasn't her. Oh my God, I'm sorry. But shout out, Donna. I was listening to Tamara and Dolores. God, my brain is just like fried. Dolores said maybe Kyle talks to PK to like get inside scoop about Maurizio. But bros before hoes, that shit is on lockdown. I don't think PK divulges any information because guys are even more secret keeping than girls. Because girls, we do love to gossip. So girls will like spill the guts, I feel like, before the guys. But PK ain't telling Kyle nothing about what Maurizio's doing with these young girls. So I don't really get why Kyle needs or wants to talk to PK, the benefit for her, but they do come to like a resolution and they're going to meet off camera and they're going to talk it out, whatever. And I think that's good because I do think that they had a friendship and I always did like Kyle, but I do think she's so in denial of stuff she does. Not as bad as Sutton, but she's getting there because I don't know how you don't get it, Kyle. You're going through a divorce. And then they did say that. Dorit was like, what if the roles were reversed? And then Andy fed into it and said, how would you feel if Dorit was texting Maurizio and it was like this? And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't like it. And it's like, thank you. Okay, so don't do it and then admit you were wrong. It's like Kyle can't admit when she's wrong. She always kind of has to be the victim because she's like, I'm going through a tough time. It's like, well, bitch, so is Dorit. At least you have money because I don't know what's happening with Dorit and PK because they already talked about the like foreclosure on the house. And she said pre-foreclosure. It's like, well, whatever. That's still the word foreclosure. Like there is money issues. And I'm just going to be real. Kyle chose for the separation / divorce. So that means she chose for Maurizio to be making out with like young girls in airports because you said you wanted to be separated. So that's what's going to happen. Dorit didn't choose it. PK did. Now, I'm not saying maybe they shouldn't. And like he was putting his foot down, kind of like Carl. Like, I feel like Lindsay was like mad, like they broke up, but you wanted to get married in that condition. You guys were like fighting every weekend in the Hamptons while you're being paid to film a show with all your friends. Should be a very blissful time. So I feel a little more bad with Dorit because I feel like she is getting like the carpet pulled from under her feet. She has no choice. It's like PK is calling the shots and she's got to go along with it. Where Kyle was calling the shots and now she's like mad and sad about the shots she called, but it's like, meh, whatever. Kyle keeps dropping her crystal and it's like, I feel like it's like flying out of her hand. And also it's like, did you really need to bring crystals? You've been doing these reunions forever. Like just, it's obviously not helping at this juncture because you all still fight. So rub on that crystal, whatever. It's like literally flying out of your hand at this point. This is when Jennifer Tilly and Kathy come out. They talk about Erica's middle name for a second because Kathy's like, Mrs. Girardi. And she's like, isn't that your name? And it's like, well, we really don't want to like refer to Erica as that. And she's like, what is your other last name, like maiden name? And she's like, is it Jane? And then Kyle's like, no, Kathy, that's just a stage name, which is just so funny. This is so funny. So my sister-in-law's name is Renee. And I spell my name, Erica, with a K, just like Erica on The Housewives. So Erica's mom's name is Renee. And when that first happened, I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. And then they said, what is your middle name on this reunion? And she said, well, my mom's husband, so like, I guess that's Erica's dad, she's like, used to call my mom Nene. And that's my middle name. And I was like, oh my God, this just gets funnier. So for like my daughters and all little kids in my sister-in-law's life, they call her Aunt Nene because it's just easier to say than Renee when you're little. So we just call her Nene. And I had to text her that clip because I was like, oh my God, now it's getting even creepier. So we got the Erica and Renee resemblance, but now they're saying Nene. I'm like, this is just too funny. But then they're talking about Kathy's Chinese, like, descendancy from 3,000 years ago. So she said when she was in Venice, Italy, a woman told her she was of Chinese descent. And they were like, who though? And she's like, just this woman. And she asked my name and she plugged it in on her phone. And then she said that I have ancestors that are Chinese from 3,000 years ago. It's like, Kathy, I hope you didn't give her any money because you're definitely con. Like, no one knows what's happening. This woman was just like on an iPhone, and she probably knows who you are because she's like, she didn't even know who I was. It's like, you told her your name was Kathy Hilton and she was on her phone. She definitely knows who you were. But then they're just saying the slight shade that Kathy was giving on Mo and PK. And if anybody to be a girl's girl, it's Kathy, because she, during the season, said, you know, Kyle, Maurizio's really looking old. Like, you could be his daughter. And then when Dorit was kind of like talking about PK at that dinner they had at Kathy's house and like how he sent her the mean email and stuff, she's like, well, I mean, like, how old is PJ? And then she called him PJ. She couldn't even remember his name. And then I forget how old he is, but Dorit said the age. She went, oh, I thought he was way older than that. So good for Kathy. And she's like, I just thought you guys had a bigger age gap because you look just so young. And I just love Kathy's hype for these two women going through a tough time. But then they flash back to when Erica was on Watch What Happens Live. And they asked who Erica thinks sucks up to Kathy Hilton the most on Watch What Happens Live. And she was like, Sutton. And Garcelle's a close second. Garcelle immediately gets mad at this comment. And she's like, yeah, I didn't think that was a nice thing to say, Erica. And she's like, she's so upset. It's like Andy pushes them to be a little shady, kind of like Jeff Lewis. Like, he pushes the shadiness out of people. So it's just like, she's just saying that, and she had to pick somebody on the cast when they do those questions. It's like they have the bobbleheads at the bottom of the screen. It's like, you got to pick somebody. So she's just picking who she thinks. And let's be honest, she's picking the people she's not even friends with, because I've already said that. It's Sutton and Garcelle versus everybody else. And she's like, that's just my opinion. And it's like, AKA, it's okay, Garcelle, to have an opinion, because you had an opinion about Dorit's robbery on the previous reunion, the part 1, and that was okay. That's a way worse opinion. I'm not like team Dorit like 100%, because I do think some of the things she said to Sutton this season were mean. But Sutton said mean things to her too. At this point, they're at a tit for tat and they're both just being mean because they both just don't want to be friends. So it's like they don't care. But Garcelle thinking that Erica can't say that and have an opinion or a comment. But Garcelle, the episode prior to this, the part 1, she's like, that's just my opinion about the robbery. That's like a real bold, strong opinion, though. You're basically saying they committed crime and fraud, because who else would want their house to be broken into? It would literally only be PK or Dorit to collect insurance money. I mean, who else would want to do that? It just, I hate that Garcelle can make these terrible comments, but she's mad at Erica for saying, yeah, I think you suck up to Kathy Hilton. Just laugh. That's like a laughable comment. That's not like, oh, yeah, I do think you committed a crime and insurance fraud. We got one more part to go. And then she's not even going to stay around for the group picture that she said at the beginning. She wanted them to have a group picture. Obviously, you don't. So I wonder what more is said that like ticks her off. And I just can't wait to see Kathy Hilton say she told her daughter she may be interested in women to make Kyle feel better. Because you know Andy's eyebrows are going to raise up and he's going to be like, what do you mean by that? And he'll be like, Kyle, how do you feel? Are you a lesbian? Do you like women? Do you like the ladies? I mean, I'm just glad Andy took one for the team and said all that about Morgan Wade being in the spotlight, because it's true. And at this point, please just tell us if you're having a romantic relationship. Like, no one cares. You could say it started later, even though none of us will believe that, because the way they were acting last season, I guess you don't even have to tell us. We're already putting 2 and 2 together. So now we can say that you're a liar. You're a liar, Kyle. We need Ken Todd to pop out of somewhere. Goodbye, Kyle. Let's take a little break here, and then we're going to recap Summerhouse and then do a little Bravo Tea. Do you ever struggle finding unique gifts for kids that will be excited about? Look no further. Ellie and Mila Boutique has everything from custom jean jackets, backpacks, sneakers, and more. Go to ellieandmila.com. That's ELLIEAND MILA.com to use my code BRAVOT10 to receive 10% off your order. I know my daughters have the jean jackets and the fanny packs from there. I'm going to get them backpacks, and I just got them sneakers. They are so cute. They kind of look like golden goose sneakers. Everything is just so unique. So get them for your own kids or for gifts, friends, baby showers, anything. Everything is perfect. So that's ellieandmila.com and use my code BRAVOT10. And we're back, and we got Lindsay picking Paige up to go to the Hamptons. I like that they're getting closer, and Paige is like, it's taken a long time for Lindsay and I to get over our squabbles, basically. And then they show like a couple flashbacks because they never were that close. But she's like, I now in my 30s appreciate Lindsay never really admitting she's wrong or apologizing, because it's like, I don't know you anything either at that juncture in my life. And she's like, I was raised by Lindsay Hubbard. Oh, it's silly. Lindsay's saying she's just sick and tired of Carl's lies. And she's obviously referring to, she's gun-ho saying that Lil was a little hoe, slipping in the DMs when they were still very much engaged, about to be married. We're going to see a little later that's not true. But then on the other car, we get Jesse, West, and Lexi. Jesse said Lexi just met Jesse's parents. So they're 1 month in to dating, to knowing each other, period. And they've already met both sets of parents. I feel like Jesse met her parents and sister like 2 weeks after knowing each other. It's just moving like so fast. And I'm a little confused why they want to move this fast, like either of them, because they're young. Like just pump the brakes. Just be casual. It's weird kind of how like they don't want each other to hook up with other people, and Lexi probably just is a little more clingy if I have to pick one. Even though Jesse immediately was like attracted to her, why are we rushing this? Why are we like marching down the aisle like by next month? It's like weird a little bit on her end that she's pressuring him so much, and Jesse's feeling the pressure. And he's like, 1 month into dating, I do not introduce people to my parents. Well, then tell Lexi you don't want to date her. Like, I'm just like at a loss why he wasn't just honest. Like, it's totally fine if you're attracted to her and you want to hook up with her, but you should say like, we like just met. I don't want to be like this serious. It's a little too fast. I'm not saying I want to be like Emerald and having like a threesome and different ladies in my room every weekend. But I can tell Jesse is highly regretting getting this like committed. It's too much. West is back there and he's like, well, I'm just going to say that if he feels a little rushed, then it's a little rushed. And then Jesse's like, too late. And Lexi's sitting there like, what Twilight Zone am I living in? I think Jesse gaslighting a little bit. I think off camera. I mean, we always see when they do film like a date, he's bringing her flowers. He brought the mom flowers. First episode, he's like, this is the love of my life, my girlfriend. That's a joke, though. She keeps clinging on to that. I don't think she gets how sarcastic this whole house is. I mean, look at Paige. That's why Jesse and Paige would be fascinating. I don't think Paige would ever date him. I think Jesse would like die to date Paige, but I don't think Paige will ever touch another Bravo man with a 10-foot pole. I think she's just living her life being Paige right now. Jesse said in the after show, he's like, Paige is going to date or marry like a Yankees player. And I'm like, sure, she's definitely not going to marry you. But they would be funny together because they're so like funny and sarcastic. Like obviously, Lexi, in 10 minutes into him meeting you, he's not in love with you. She's a little like ditzy millennial, like I'm 26. It's showing that a little bit. Like she's just clinging on to every word he's saying as seriousness. But on one hand, I got to say, I think off camera, he does say a lot of serious stuff to her, and you would hope someone isn't lying to you. So it's a half and half for me, but it's getting annoying how like obsessed we have to be with each other after a month. Everyone gets to the house. The girls are all chit-chatting outside, and Lexi is telling everyone after kickball she was crying. And Jessie sent her flowers and then took her out to her favorite restaurant. So this is where it's kind of like, okay, this is why she's getting the hints of you really do want to be like serious with me. You're in love with me. You're obsessed with me, whatever. She said she doesn't really like if he's going to act differently when she's not around, though. And Paige and Sierra and Amanda said, yeah, he was definitely acting different without you here. And I'm just getting confused why this girl wants to give him so many chances and they've just known each other for a month. Red flags of commitment already. You should act the same if I'm there or not. It'd be like if I was like, oh, my husband's like going to go hang out with some friends. I'm like so nervous how he's going to act. No. My husband could go anywhere and I trust him 100%. He could go on a bachelor party to a strip club. I don't think that he's going to act different at all. I don't think he's going to like run away with one of them and leave me. It's if Lexi's feeling this like concerned about him, don't run away. But everyone's getting ready for dinner. So Jesse's going to host a Shabbat dinner. And in true Shabbat fashion, you're going to put all your phones away. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. They're going to like dim the lights, just like really set the mood, get a drama-filled dinner. But when they're getting ready, in Paige's confessional, she said she's going on tour for Giggly Squad in about a month. And she's just really upset with Craig's reaction. And then it flashed back to them talking about the pirate party when he visited. And he doesn't want to be forgotten. And she's like, instead of him saying, I'm so proud of you, don't worry about anything except focusing on this tour, he's doing the opposite. So it's so interesting seeing the different sides of their breakup. So like when I would watch Southern Charm, I'd feel kind of bad for Craig. But then when I watch Summerhouse, I'm more in tune to thinking Paige is a little more right. And she ultimately broke up with Craig because of his unsupportiveness. And I really do feel, though, that she should have broken up with him a little sooner. Because right here, right now, at this juncture, so I think they said it's the beginning of August, I think. Beginning of August, she should have broke up with him right now. Instead, she let it linger. And she broke up with him 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, which the holidays, that's awful. I mean, then Craig's all like freaking sad during like Christmas and whatnot. I'm thinking she didn't want to break up with him and deal with a breakup at the beginning of the tour. But then on the other hand, she's going on tour and dealing with a unsupportive and relationship she's kind of checked out of. She said she had, so I watched the after show, and she said she had her panic attack, little anxiety, because Craig would like send her this like documentary of ABBA, the band, and it was like how going on tour breaks up your family and blah, 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 blah. I don't think she would lie at all. So the fact that he's sending that is wild. Why are you sending that? And it's not like she's never coming back. This is my thing. They're at different ages. I think if they were both 31, Craig wouldn't have been acting that way. I hope not. But the fact that he's 38 and he's like, I'm ready to settle down. He's like, we can't settle down when you're going on a tour. But also it's like, look at all of these actors, all of these musicians. Now, sometimes their relationships don't work out, but they're married. They have kids. Like White Lotus, they were in Thailand for 6 months filming White Lotus. You got to do what you got to do. Don't you think some of those people have spouses or kids? Yeah. So you just do what you got to do. I think he's not realizing that you can do this career stuff and still have a family or have a relationship. He really did push Paige away, but Paige admits, I'm not the same person when we started dating. Like she was less busy, but he should be proud of her. Like right now, if I got all the opportunities that Paige did, my husband would be proud of me. And we have a almost 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, but we would figure it out because he wouldn't want me to not do what Paige is doing. I mean, Paige is getting it. Every time I open Instagram, like I just opened Instagram before I sat down, they were on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. They're on the Today Show. They did this podcast tour in like, what was it, 60 cities or something? Just wild. I mean, she has a shoe collab with DSW that I definitely want to check out. She is like a partner with Nespresso, obviously does the Amazon Lives, just does like everything. I mean, get it. And she's doing this show. She's killing it. And obviously the podcast. Oh, and they wrote a book, her and Hannah. I want to order that. I mean, just it's saddening to hear her say he should just be supporting me. And he should. Just be like, even if you have like those feelings, maybe just call your mom, Craig, and talk about it. I think him saying it one time to Paige is mature and understandable. But if he's doing it like over and over and over again and then sending her documentaries of like families breaking up when they're on tour. And by the way, musicians are on the road for like the whole year. Paige wasn't on the road for the whole year. And she would come back home and he could come with her. Like, this is my thing too. If you're the less busy one, follow the busy one a little bit. Not all the time. Like, don't give up totally on your life. But if my husband was like a musician or an actor, I mean, we have kids, so it's school time, I can't follow you around. But summer, oh, you're filming here for a couple months. Summer will come with. Just, I feel like maybe Craig wanted the more pants worn in the relationship, but it's 2025, Craigie. Sometimes we just got to follow the person that's wearing the pants, whether that be female pants or men pants. But they all go downstairs and Jesse is setting up the Shabbat dinner, collect everyone's phones. And Kyle said he's DJing his first party in the Hamptons tomorrow. So I'm so sad. He's DJing in Philly May 3rd, like after a Phillies game or something. But I have 2 communions to go to. And then I have our daughter's birthday party the next day that I'm hosting at the house. So I could not go. I would have loved to spy on the DJing, not to actually see him DJ, but just to be in the presence of Kyle Cook. Because I don't really know how his DJing skills are, because I feel like this is just a newfound hobby of his. So it's not as serious as like a DJ James Kennedy. But I am sad I can't go. And he's like, I've been lugging speakers up here for 10 years, and at least it's finally paying off. Then they show a flashback of him from 10 years ago. Not only does he look so nerdy and different back then, but he's putting a speaker into like the ugliest, like jankiest car. And just have times have changed, because now he's rolling up in this like expensive, weird BMW. I don't even know what it is. I forget. And the interior's all suede, 2-tone suede. I'm like, definitely don't have that random little beer car you used to have, Kyle. I will say though, even if you do have money in New York, I don't really know specifically where him and Amanda live. Like maybe they have a parking garage, but I wouldn't want like a $100,000 car in New York, because I would just be panicked all the time that something's going to happen to it. I really wouldn't want a car, period. If I lived in New York, I would just have a driver like Miranda Priestley in The Devil Wears Prada. So I guess I would like that, but I wouldn't want to drive, B, park my car and worry about it, and C, maybe if I have a lot of money, I'll just blow money on Uber Black every month, you know? But Jesse says the prayer, which is very lovely. He kind of like, it's like a little melody down with the Shabbat prayer. And he said, this is when everyone just talks about their week. So Kyle made a nice comment saying on their flight home that Amanda held his hand. And that was lovely, because they just went to Italy for a wedding. But then the loveliness turned real dark real quick when Carl said he doesn't want to go on any more dates with Lil because she's weird, and brought him a lemon on their date. And she said it's because he makes lemon into lemonade, and the magician like sexiness has worn off and she's weird with her handmade clothing. And maybe this was like a magic trick testing out when Lindsay goes right in and says, "Oh, is that your first date? Because it's come to my knowledge that your little girlfriend's running around saying you've been talking since last summer when we were still together." And he's like, "That's not true." And she's like, "Prove it then." And then everyone's like, their faces are like so scared. And then Jesse's like pouring more wine in someone's glass. It's like dinner and a show. Like I would like sit back and love this. I really would never want to be involved in any intense drama if I was all these people, but my God, would it be fun to have dinner and a show like this and watch other people's drama? And you could tell that's what they are. Like Paige is like, yes, fill up my wine. And this is just great. So no one has their phone. And then he's like, my phone is upstairs charging. And she went, oh, how convenient. And everyone's like, Carl, please just go get it. And then Jesse's like, Jesus will allow you to get your phone. So he handed Lindsay that phone, shut that shit down in 5 seconds. It was conflict and resolution real quick. Lindsay was like stuck on the fact that he went to a soccer game and met her parents like randomly in August. But him and Lil's first DM wasn't until October. And then this is when Lil took to the internet and she posted it. And I saw it on TikTok. And it was like the last time I checked, October came after August. And I was like, oh, Lil, need you at the reunion for like a second just to say that. It'd be like a magic trick, like pop in and poof out magic. And he's like, Lindsay, I pray for you. And she's like, I don't need you to pray for me. And like Paige's face was like, oh my God, I would like literally stab Carl in the eye if he said that to me. And she's like, all right, sorry. Like Lindsay was so confident that she was right because like at the beginning when Paige said she doesn't apologize and she just goes all in, Carl was ready to shut it down though. And I don't really know why Lindsay would think Carl would cheat. I mean, they're broken up for like a year and he hasn't even had sex with anyone else, which I believe because I think Carl's strange. That's why like at first I was like, I could see him and Lil together because she's strange. He just has no game. So like, Lindsay, why do you think someone with no game that's sober is cheating on you? I don't know. It's just a little crazy, but and then it's like, why are you so mad? Your relationship was going down the shitter anyway. I like really feel like it's strange that Lindsay is mad that he broke them up. But it's like, why did you want to get married? You were fighting all the time. It's very strange. But you can tell Lexi is still bothered with Sierra because of the flirting. So Sierra was sitting next to Jesse at the dinner table. But she really needs to have the problem with Jesse, not Sierra. And just for reference, girl, like they were all together and forming a bond last summer before you got there. And she's just very insecure. And I'm not trying to knock her for that because I do feel bad when people feel insecure, but like I couldn't handle that. It's annoying. And I can already tell Jesse finds her so annoying. I'm confused. Like, I think he finds her clinginess and possessiveness so annoying that it's like, even if you think she's attractive, she's not going to be for you then. Because if she's going to be annoying like that your whole life, don't you get it? Like this is a month of knowing each other and she's already like, can you please stop writing under their pictures? Can you please not talk to anybody? Can you please unfollow these girls on Instagram? It's like, no, bye. Thank you. Next. Like, no. No one went out this night except for maybe Emerald, but I don't even think he did. And he definitely didn't bring a girl home for lunch, which is a shocker, but I'm sure he'll make up for it on the next night. He'll bring like 5 girls home. But they all wake up. Carl goes outside and he's crying. And I thought he was crying because of him and Lindsay's fight. But he said it's the anniversary of his brother's passing. So Lindsay tells them all in the kitchen. And Emerald, West go out, kind of like hug him, check on him. He said it's hard for him because this is the first year he doesn't have Lindsay really in his life, minus being in the house during this time. And I don't think it's because Carl misses their love relationship. I think he misses their friendship because him and Lindsay had been friends for a really long time, known each other. She knew his brother, knew his family. And then they show like a little flashback of like 2 years ago, it said, and she's like, well, your brother would be proud of the man you've become. So he actually passed away. the day before Lindsay's birthday, but then they found out on Lindsay's birthday. So also that has to like resonate in his head that it's like just another association with Lindsay. But I feel bad for Carl. And he said that he's always like, why was it him and why am I still here? Because his brother was an addict. I think that scared him straight. And that's sometimes what it takes for people, because you can send them to rehab. Sometimes they relapse. When something like that happens and someone close to them passes away from the problems that they're trying to deal with, that can be like an instant wake-up call. And I don't think Carl will ever touch drugs or alcohol ever again. I think definitely he is sticking to the sober lifestyle and doesn't struggle with that at all, which is great. I mean, he said sometimes he has like struggles, but I don't think he will, knock on wood, ever relapse, because I think the passing of his brother was like a big wake-up call. But then they head out to Kyle's DJ gig, and it's at a house. So I'm like, is this like a private event someone paid Kyle for? Because like, who are some of these people? And Jesse says to Wes, you'll have to look at all the birds here for the both of us today. So I'm trying to have a drama-free day. Literally, if you want to scam on chicks at this random party on the weekend, don't date and buckle yourself down. I think I'm shocked how he wanted to commit and tie himself down, because I don't personally find Jesse Solomon attractive, but he's not awful looking. He's on a TV show. He lives in New York and he's young. Like, why do you want to commit down? And I feel like West too, like he got there and was so mesmerized by Sierra, even though I think West and Sierra's was more understandable. Like they were, because she wasn't like being as pushy as Lexi. Like Sierra wasn't like, oh, I just met you. Do you want to come meet my parents? It's like, no, that's a little creepy. Carl says to Lexi, have you guys made headway? Or I've heard that you guys have made headway in the relationship. And are you guys boyfriend or girlfriend? And she said, no, we're exclusive. Now, I'm 34 years old. I am so glad that I don't have to live in the world of this lingo and that I am married. Because what on earth is the difference between being exclusive with someone and being boyfriend or girlfriend with someone? Being exclusive means you're only seeing / sleeping / talking / hanging out with each other. So to me, that's being boyfriend and girlfriend. Like when you say, oh, I'm just dating this person, that could mean I'm dating other people. I'm just dating in general. I'm going on dates with other people. Exclusive means there is no other people. It's just you and him. So why isn't that boyfriend and girlfriend? You're only seeing each other. I'm just like so lost. It is funny though, like when I think about it, we used to like say like a long time ago, like, oh, I'm like talking to this person, talking. Like, okay, even that is stupid. But that is like, well, I could be talking to 5 other people, and talking doesn't even mean like anything physical. That was just like, oh, we have each other's phone numbers and we like talk to each other. Pretty blunt. But this, and Carl's sitting there and he's like one of the oldest ones in the house. He's like, I don't understand either. He's like one of the oldest and she's like the youngest. So it's like funny to hear their conversation. And then I'm sitting there being confused as well. But Jesse is telling West also that Lexi is keeping tabs and noticed that he started following girls after they've been together. So he just unfollowed them all to like make it a peaceful time in his life. But it's like, if you have to do that, that's why this is crazy. And you can tell West is just like, this is a no-go. Like, if she's being this crazy and psychotic, shit's just going to get worse. And I mean, they are on TV. He definitely gets DMs from girls just because he's on TV. So how is she going to handle stuff like that? Even when it's not him reaching out to the girls and maybe not him even ever answering it, but I could see her being like, uncomfortable with that, but he physically can't help that. I mean, he's on TV. Like, I bet she gets DMs from weird guys. Is he supposed to be mad at you for that? So He is calling in reinforcements and he's just chatting about this with Paige. And she said, well, she is 26. So if you feel you can deal with like 26-year-old things, then this is fine. But she's like, the fact you just told me that you said things have been good and we've made up, you've only known each other for a month. She's like, that's alarming a little bit. And then Paige did say, oh, all she did was do this. Like, I used to show up to people's houses at 26. And I mean, yeah, when we're younger, we care about so much more. But that's what Paige is trying to point out. Not that they have like a huge age gap, but 20s to 30s can be a maturity. So it's not even the age, it's like the maturity gap. And I do feel he is leading her on a little bit, but I also feel like if they were dating for 6 months, these are not good signs. Like, he can't write under Paige's picture, like, oh, you're fire. Like, maybe she feels insecure because I bet she watched last season seeing that Jesse was obsessed with Paige and Sierra. I mean, I think he just has a very flirty personality, and that's his personality. So it's either, and he's 31 years old and he's a man, he's not changing. So you're either okay with it or you're not. And to be honest, the more she's not okay with it, the more it's going to push him away, which maybe is what it is. I mean, she was on Watch What Happens Live after. She used to date a Beckham. So I don't know if that's like Posh Spice and David Beckham's son or their nephew, but she was dating someone that's a Beckham. So I'm just confused why she's even wasting time and why they're both wasting time at this point with Jesse thing. Sierra and Paige go on the hammock to chat, and Sierra's like, don't knock me over, and she takes a tumble. Then they move to a table. They move to a secure spot. So they kind of have like a Craig check-in. So I recorded it.
I'm the breadwinner, so why would you not move to me? That would just be stupid, logistically. And then I've said to him so many times, like, if this is not what you want, like... Yeah, but why are you... But you're putting it on him. Because it's so much easier to give the other person the out than to, like, really dig deep and determine if that's even what you want. Sorry. I love Craig. And when I think about, like, me and Craig breaking up, I get upset. Like, I'm like, no. Like, I don't want him with anyone else. I don't want to, like, be with anyone else. So I get, like, conflicted. I'm like, okay, if I feel like that, so then why don't I compromise on certain... But I'm like, I feel like I'm being gaslit into things that I need to compromise on.
So I see what Paige is talking about, because right now she's on fire. I think she is the breadwinner at the moment. And he did say on Watch What Happens Live that he would move to New York. But I could see it's like when it came down to brass tacks, maybe he was chickening out and using excuses. And no pun intended, using the word chicken. I forgot about the nicknames. But I have to agree with Sierra. And she is saying, I think you're pushing it on Craig, pushing him away so he just breaks up with you. And I agree. I think Paige was giving signs because everyone's like, oh, Craig didn't know, or Craig says he was blindsided. She was given some hints. But I do think Paige was just hoping that Craig would break up with her and it would be out of her hands and out of her control. And she'd be like, oh, shoot, that's what I want anyway. Instead, she did have to do it. But I'm liking the insight on both shows. Definitely leaning a little more towards Paige now. Because at first I was just like totally team Craig, especially when we thought speculation that she was dating that guy. I really don't think she's dating that guy, even though I think it's shady. They traveled a lot together and she didn't just maybe come out and be like, he's just my friend. I'm not dating anyone. Like, she kind of like played up the mysteriousness, kind of like Kyle with Morgan Wade. But Summerhouse, getting good. Move on to some of the Bravo tea. So we had Brittany Cartwright this week come out with her People article about her son's diagnosis with autism. And I thought it was really amazing, everything she said. And you could tell she's such a great mom. And not to put shade, even though no one would care if we put shade on Jax, you know that when there were signs that Cruz was maybe autistic, or I could see Brittany being like, we need to, get him tested, get him therapy, get him help. Jax was probably like, no, he's fine. Everything's fine. And it's like, no, like you need to check, especially because the interesting part that I thought Brittany said is he actually reached his milestones even faster than other people. So he was like crawling, walking, talking early, and then he regressed, which has to just be so terrible. She said he really doesn't speak. And all of them were pregnant the same time I was pregnant with my second child. So my youngest is 4. She was just 4 in March. And I just saw, actually, it was Cruz's birthday the other day. And it had to be so tough. I couldn't imagine my 4-year-old right now not being able to talk. I mean, that is really difficult. So I really applaud Brittany for coming out with this whole article with People. And she said it's been really hard. And I think it was the best scenario for her to get away from Jax. I can't wait for the new season of Valley. It's coming out on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday night. It's going to be a doozy. All the trailers and all the previews they're doing, it looks really good. One I watched today, and it was Nia and Danny still discussing moving. And I'm like, oh my God, they're still all crammed in there in that apartment. And now, current day, she's pregnant. I don't think we're going to see her pregnant this season on the Valley, but fast forward to modern day time, she is pregnant right now. And I'm like, if they are still on that damn apartment and they're about to have a 4th child, get out of the apartment. He's still hell bent on moving to Santa Clarita, which it said it's 20 minutes from LA. So that doesn't sound that far, but with LA traffic, it could be freaking 5 hours. But he's really hell bent on moving there, and she doesn't want to. She wants to stay close to everyone. It's sad. I can't believe they can't maybe find something in their price range budget that is in the Valley. But then I saw people were saying, oh, the Valley is awful for what you get, $1 million getting you a little tiny house, but it'd be better than your tiny apartment. A house in general would be better than an apartment. And when Brittany, Katie, Jax, Tom, Ariana, when they all got those houses, they bought at a different time because those are big houses, and I feel like they paid $1.2 million. So modern day today, you're not getting that big of a house, I think, for that price. We saw James, his house was small, and it was $1 million, and it's apparently near the airport, even though I read his house was really close to Jax and Brittany's. So I'm like, okay, well, then that means they're really close to the airport too. I feel like they just dwelled all season long on Vanderpump that James lived near the airport. Oh, and also I listened to the Vile Files. I listened to Allie's interview. Very interesting. She said that LVP, which this isn't shocking, but interesting, she shared that she reached out to her after the breakup and was almost saying she had to get back together with James. All the weird covering that LVP does for these men is very annoying. And then I listened to Katie's interview with Nick Viall today, and she said that Lisa was so weird when her and Tom got divorced. Oh, well, I wrote your vows. You can't get divorced. It's yeah, actually they can. It's fine. And she said she really has not reached out to her or Ariana, never reached out to them when they opened the store. And aren't they right next to Sir? How weird is that? I just think her always covering and taking the guy's side is weird. There was a little interesting. I also, speaking of LVP, listened to her on the Hot Mic podcast, and Alex Baskin was just asking her who she still stayed in touch with, Vanderpump. And she said Schwartz, and she said Lala, and like that was it. And then I was shocked she didn't say Sheena, especially because Sheena was Pandora's friend. And for the premiere party for the Valley, I saw a clip. They're interviewing Sheena, and they're like, "Do you hear from LVP?" And she's like, "No," and did this like weird shady smile. And I'm like, that's fascinating. But yeah, I don't know. All these podcasts are just so interesting to hear them all spill all of the tea. We still don't know, like, I feel like we're still at like a lull with Teresa and Louis. I mean, I guess they owe a bunch of taxes. G is like, everything's fine. It's like, bitch, it's not fine. Your mom owes so many taxes, and now your stepdad does too. I need like inside cameras, eyes in that house. I did just see this thing though that's going to be on Monday on TV, and it's like how the housewives, like it was like, I forget what it was called. It's not terrible. It's on like Discovery or like Max, and it's like a whole thing about how some of the housewives have like had money issues or like gone to jail or done like wrongdoings, and it's just about housewives. So we know like Teresa and the Joe stuff will be on it. We know Erica Jane will be on it. Jen Shaw, stuff like that. So that's going to be interesting. So I'll watch that and I'll definitely recap it. Oh, and I wrapped up the Denise Richards show on almost the last episode. Charlie Sheen was on, so we saw an appearance from him. He got like a neck lift, and Denise is like, "Can I see your neck? Because I kind of want one." I thought the show was like decent. Like I said, it wasn't like jaw-dropping, riveting TV, but it was like something to tune into, or definitely to just like have on. And it's because I do think that her family is interesting and they're funny, and this is like more suitable for her versus being on the Housewives. I don't think the Housewives wasn't her jam. Like her rolling in like her white tank top and jeans on those vacations. She's like, "Oh my gosh, everyone gets so dressed up." It's like, yeah, duh, you're on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like, I didn't mind her show. If there'd be another season, I would watch. I mean, I don't really know if they'll keep it going, but definitely excited for the Valley. So basically all I'm going to have on the roster is like the Valley. Oh, we have wrapping it up with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. Thank God. And I saw in the preview, it said Kyle like spies on Maurizio's phone or something. And I'm like, oh, love to know what's in that phone. Yeah, but then we're basically just going to have the Valley and Summerhouse, and I'm okay with that. Oh, finished White Lotus last week. That was interesting. I get like so attached to the stories though, that I like every season. It's different and it's different people and they're in a different country. But like I need to see that family like poor Poe, as Anna Delvey would say. Like I need to see it. I'm wondering if they would pop in the next one. Probably not, because it's kind of like American Horror Story. It's like all different every season. But White Lotus is good. I need to like find some other shows now to watch, especially since I feel like I don't have that many on Bravo. Like once Beverly Hills is over, it's just the Valley and Summerhouse. And Summerhouse is like coming to an end. The Jesse and Lexi train wreck has got to end. But I feel like this was a good pod. We got a lot covered, got a lot said. As always, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Bravo T with a stay-at-home mom. And I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. It's almost Easter. I can't wait for the Easter Bunny to leave us some candy and chocolates and treats. And then we're all going to have our children for a whole entire week on spring break.